very much. Thank you for joining in on this call. Um, Wishing everyone a happy new year. And I want to be sure that we're all ready to amplify. So if we're ready to amplify, please let me see your emojis. Let me see your show of emojis. Okay, I see that most of us are ready to. Oh, wow. I've been speaking and I didn't know that my mic was still on mute. Wow, wonderful. So thank you very much, everyone, once again. I was saying that I would love for us to take recognitions, but I see that there's quite a number of us on the call. So please make use of the chat box. Drop your names and your local organization. Make use of the chat box. Drop your names and your local organization. And Happy New Year once again, everyone. Welcome to the Amplify year. And the training will be starting at exactly 7:10. We already have our trainer on the call and is ready for us. I hope we are ready to learn. Please and please, if there is anything that we are going to do on this call today, please listen attentively. I'd like us to please listen attentively so that at the end of this training, we can all understand the brand guidelines and it will help guide us accordingly during the course of the Amplify administration year. So please and please, I would like to beg each and every one of us to please listen attentively so that we can get in bits every information that is passed to us. Thank you very much. Thank you. I can see the names in the chat box. Thank you so much for joining the call. So I think pending the time would have the national president on the call. We're just 1 minute away from entering into the training proper. Thank you. Please keep dropping your names and your local organizations on chat box. All right, dear local organization presidents, dear area communications directors, dear local organization communications director. It is 7:10, and I'd like to invite our trainer, our dear trainer, who has been up and doing since the beginning of this administration, who has taken his time to come and train us on the brand guidelines. And I'd like to say thank you to our trainer because I know that he has a lot of things to do. But I'd like to say thank you to him for accepting to come and do this so as to guide local organizations on how to properly apply our brands to align with the guidelines of JCI Nigeria and JCI. So please, with your emoji, welcome with me the 2025 Executive Vice President Northwest, in person of JCI Senator Ayodeji Akinwande. Please keep dropping your emojis. Keep dropping your emojis, please. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, we can, sir.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, local presidents in our midst, national board members, area team members, local board members, TC's guest friends and observers. Special greetings to the convener of this meeting, the 2026 National Director of Communications. Thank you for the opportunity to serve once again. I would like to kindly state that this place might be a bit noisy, based on the fact that I am not in my comfort zone, but we need to actually run this training and then we will go ahead to do it. Kindly confirm in the chat box, not with voice, if you can see the screen. Thank you very much. I would need like, we have about 101 people here. So I need about at least 10 people to confirm that they can see the chat box. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So I'm going to try my best today to be as serious as possible. But then, of course, the few people that are like me are here to actually make us laugh. We have someone like Mola Karim saying that they have the screen. Yes, I know you have the screen. So thank you very much for this opportunity again to serve. And I'll try my best to at least move swiftly as fast as possible. The National Director of Communications kindly states in the chat box how many minutes we have for the training before we go into question and answers. Thank you very much. And while we are doing that, I also mentioned earlier that I'm a bit not in my comfort zone. So I would like us to have more questions and answers in the chat box as against voice, so that we can do this well. National Director of Communications, I'm expecting the amount of minutes that we have for this training. But let me quickly jump right into the training while we move on. Thank you very much. So the JCI brand has been on for a while. We have been using the same thing for a lot of years. And then after our 110th birthday, we decided to change for several reasons. And we have moved into a new swift, would I say, based on perspective, lovely design. I know that a lot of us usually are averse to some kind of change, but JCI members actually are supposed to be the change in everywhere we go. We're supposed to become the change. And as such, even change would actually get us to move forward and move faster, as the case may be. So in JCI today, we have decided across board that we are going to start to use a new brand identity. And as such, we try to merge both forms of brand, both the old and the new together to give us something that is going to be sweet for us to get to our target audience. Now, branding basically, I don't want to jump into too much about branding, but branding basically is about instilling our message, instilling our goal, instilling our drive in the minds of our target audience, which are customers. And usually for Junior Chamber International, first of all, the product of Junior Chamber International is actually the members, each and every one of us. And we are the ones that get to show the world what exactly we are and what we are doing. But in passing this message across, there are a whole lot of ways to get your customers, to get your target audience to be able to catch the message, to be able to form the message in our head, to be able to get the message strongly. And as such, in branding, if we are conversant with branding, we understand that our colors, shapes, the way we present ourselves, if we are consistent enough, then we tend to be in the mind of the customers. I've heard a lot of people over time complain a bit about the fact that I walked into somewhere, I mentioned JCI, and they did not know or they did not understand, and you had to do this or you had to do that. In the recent years, it has changed a bit, and we mentioned JCI in a few places now, especially with our press conferences. When the press men come in, they don't even need to think too much about JCI again, especially with young people. In recent times, the change has increased to the point where more people actually know about JCI. But how do we get other people to know? Like I said, a lot of us have complained about this over time. And the truth is that a lot of times, the problems actually come from even us. We do not send out a consistent message at the same time. JCI is a brand across board. Internationally, JCI is a brand. And the way JCI is seen in the US, in the UK, in Asia, in Africa and the Middle East, in the Atlantic, Antarctica, and so the same way JCI is seen across board should be almost the same. Almost. When I say almost, it means that there are a few things that might change because, of course, JCI Nigeria and JCI Ghana would actually have different logos, slightly different logos. Because of the name, but every other thing should be the same. Our messaging should be the same. The way we pass our message across should be the same. And as such, it is in this consistency that we tend to be in the minds of our customers. And I would like to quickly jump into a small game that I always play when it comes to branding and as such, just to get us to understand that this is very, very important. A few people have gotten this so much in our minds that at this point, there are few things that we see or we hear, and we already know who is actually or what brand we are talking about. And so, let me start with this. I'll start with a sound first of all. Anybody that knows this sound should just write the name of the brand in the chat box. We just might get some gifts today. Pam, 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 pararam. I'm waiting for the first person. Please don't raise your hand. Type in the chat box. Bam, Zainab Yusuf got it. No. So okay. While we're going, it's a bit confusing because what I know pam pam param pararam is actually MTN. Nokia is pananam paranam pananam pam. So we have a few people that have gotten it and a few people who, but then there's a way that these things stick in our minds. So let me give us another perspective to go as regards this. Let me use I'm not so good with sound, so don't let me use sound. Let me use something else. But then the color purple, what brand comes to mind? Purple. My favorite answer here actually is Ribena. Is Ribena. But then we all are getting it. Pay, of course, FCMB, of course, Sky, yeah, Wema, yes, Fortis Mobile, Purple Mall, Keystone. See, a lot of brands actually. Yahoo, yeah. Purple Speedy, another one that I like. But then we understand how branding as there's a way that the colors, there's a way that sounds, there's a way that a few things have gotten into our minds so bad. And then let me take us to the maximum of it all, because there are some brands like we always say that generally in our mind. Meanwhile, Director of Communications, please note the first person to respond to the MTN was Zainab Yusuf. The next person to respond to Purple was Polaris Olabi Karim. Kindly note them in the chat box. Special recognition to the first person that wrote Ribena, because it got to be here for whatever reason. Director of Communications, please kindly note them. Like I said already, I might not be able to get a voice, so please just type in the chat box. And then finally, like I was saying, it's also imperative and it's also important to note that some brands have gotten to the point where they have transcended the name of the product into the name of the brand in such a way that we have been able to get them to they have been able to get us to think about the brand name as against the product name when we are thinking about the product itself. I'll give the first example, very, very common. Most times we want to buy noodles, we call it Indomie. Whether it's whatever the name. In fact, the funniest thing is I cannot remember any of the names. Golden Penny noodles, mini-me, different forms of noodles. I've never said anything. People are already like take close up, McLean, Terry. I've never asked you the question yet. I've never asked my question yet. So please hold on. Basically, from the mindset of these brands that have put their brand names in our heads, so much so that when we think of the brand, we think of a product, instead we remember their brand names. So I'd like us to tell me an example of, let me go very, 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 very far. I like us to tell me an example of POS machines, the name that first comes to mind. So we have so I cannot call your name, even though it's Yoruba. I don't sure say it's Yoruba. Ofori, let me put Ofori Alaku. Saying OP and Noah saying Money Point, and those two have actually even gotten very, very high. We have Paga too, but Paga has slowed down a bit. Let's get another one that's very, very far so that we can just wrap it up. I've forgotten the name of this now, but then in all honesty, I believe strongly that we can actually get or we are getting the message. Now, can somebody here tell me one major thing that these people, okay, yes, the last one, and this one is very, 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 very popular. Online shopping. No, there's one name in mind. Yes. And somebody just got it. While Jumia has done so very well, in the recent time, online shopping comes to Temu, and I'll give it to Victory. Temu has gotten to, in fact, Temu is now frustrating my life. I'm pissed off about the brand, but they have done so well in ensuring that people. Now, in general, so Director of Communications, let's pick these 4 or 5 people. We'll find something for them as regards JCI. Maybe, yeah. They've won JCI branded merchandise from the office of the National Director of Communications to be gotten at their respective ACOPs or conferences, as the case may be. So let's quickly move into the training proper. Like I said, I was given 1 hour. I think I've spent 10 minutes already. Yeah, and there are a lot of people that embody their brands when you see them. Actually, the so-called that by the time you see them, you mention. I don't want us to go into further into that because I've gone a long way in trying to buttress my point. But yes, Tony Milo, one. There's even someone in JCI. I'm sure the younger ones might not know them so well, but there's someone in JCI that actually embodies his brand so much. He always wears the color orange. Anybody that can get that name, yeah, like that too. Anybody that can get the person that wears the color, no, I got it. I'm not giving a gift again. Yeah, from JCI Echo. Anyway, back to yes, Julia, hear me. So back to what we were saying. In general, there's this thing. There's something I need somebody to get this answer. There's something that is common to all these brands that they do to get us to get to this point. What is that thing? One word. Color and logo, marketing. Yes, I got the word from, so we have the sixth person who has won something today, Halima Mohammed. I got Halima Mohammed, consistency. And it is in this consistency, while every other thing, marketing, PR, sales, color, logo, blah, 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 it is actually in the fact that you continue to be consistent that gets the mind to continuously know that this thing is this. MTN is yellow. No matter how many times you think about, even though there is blue inside their logo somewhere, that yellow is so consistent in our head, and a whole lot of other things that we have. And this is why JCI needs to continuously be consistent in its brand. And the only way to be able to do this is me and you, directors of communications, local presidents, national board members, local board members, members in general. You see something that is not in line with how our message is supposed to be passed across. Consistency. In fact, I was surprised when someone outside JCI apparently asked me a question today and said, in recent times, I've started to see you people are doing one circle like that. What's going on there? So anytime I see circle now, I just remember JCI. And I told him, actually, we changed our brand and we are working towards ensuring that we pass across the message. The circle actually means the spiral effect of what we do as an organization in the world. And people are like, oh, wonderful, brand person. But where am I going to? What am I saying? It's in this consistency that we are able to pass our message across, and people tend to know us better. So I'll quickly drift through. What I'm going to do is I'll drift through the JCI brand guideline. I'll drift through the JCI Nigeria brand guideline to buttress the JCI brand guideline, and then I'll wrap it up with a few errors that I've noticed as regards communication flyers in general in JCI. Please, by the time I get to that point, not this. A lot of the local organizations are my friends, but in making this relative, it will be important that we showcase some of our issues to be able to know practical examples of the errors that have been created and how to resolve them as regards Junior Chamber International Nigeria, so that we can have a consistent brand across the board, as the case may be. Thank you very much. As we drift into the manuals, I'll try my best to move as fast as possible. We have the guidelines shared already for all of us. We can always go into them later on. If we have any questions at all, meet the Director of Communications, National Director of Communications. She would be able to give you all the answers. If you cannot reach out to her on time, don't reach out to me, because we know how to you. I am a rooster in JCI and I want to enjoy myself. But reach out to the National Director of Communications, and then the National Director of Communications can help out in ensuring that you achieve your aim. So basically, we're supposed to become the change, and we have a change that has come to us. So we should showcase ourselves in ensuring what exactly is JCI trying to pass across. We focus on three major things: our diversity of opportunities, developing leadership skills, and real impact. Those are our messages. That is what we want to pass across to people. And as such, in recent times, we have changed to this new logo on the screen. If we can still see my screen, just your favorite emoji, so that I can know that you can see my screen and you can hear me clear, loud and clear. Okay, sweet. Thank you very much. So, like I said earlier, please, I won't be able to take questions from the from voice. So kindly type in your questions. I would respond to them when it's time. We'll move from that. So just type in your question in the chat box, and then we'll move. Kelewole, if you call, I will block your line. Okay, moving on. Quickly, we have the JCI, the new JCI logo. We have the new JCI logo on, and the logo is actually what we pass across to people, what people see that is the most consistent on our different forms of things that we show to the world. Now our creatives, all the forms of creatives, visuals and co. The logo is one of the most consistent, and consistently using this logo will help to pass across our message as such. We have the logo having, for white backgrounds, we have the logo having three colors: the JCI black, which looks a bit closer to blue, whereas the JCI black, the blue, and the sea foam, that's like green, which all the three colors are actually close to blue. The mindset is that blue is our major color, and of course we enter into that. But this also shows JCI written in the Jakarta font. Then the shield created in such a way that we can have different ways to define the logo. So let me quickly explain the logo to you. The logo, the shield part, can be defined in three ways. One, the ripple effect of JCI coming up from the shield, expanding upwards and expanding again. So to show our ripple effects in impact and personal development. The acronym of Junior Chamber International, JCI, is in that same logo, which is J with the dark blue, C with the blue, with the JCI blue, and then I with the sea foam looking close to green. And then of course, the shield also tells us about the four elements of four regions of JCI, and the four areas of opportunity of JCI, because the shield has four elements, as the case may be. The small shield at the middle, the J, the C, and the I, referring to this. This construction was gotten from the ripple effect of three circles arranged together, concentric circles arranged in such a way that this is how we form the logo. Of course, I'm rushing, but if we can always go back to look at this manual as it is. Now we have the secondary logo, which includes the name of the organization. For Junior Chamber International, for JCI, we have this. This doesn't concern us. It's only for the international body. So now for national and local organizations, we have the name written in blue. In blue, it's only blue. Of course, other laws are there. Now we have the opportunity. I'm sure a lot of us have already had the link to be able to create these logos. There are two major links to be able to create the logo: the link on the website and the link on Canva, as the case may be. For us, please let us note that the size of the text under the JCI should be uniform. There are other laws that I'm going to explain later on, but should be uniform, the same size. Please do not increase it, because the name of my local organization is JCI Lagos Metropolitan, and I want to squeeze the Lagos Metropolitan to enter into this and now reduce. Please do not reduce the size. If it is too long, it moves to the next line. And the name of my local organization is JCI Nigeria. So you put the Nigeria there and you write University of Akwanga. And because of that, you now reduce it. Please do not reduce the size of the logo. Please kindly ensure we do not do that. Now, moving quickly, also, I've already mentioned, I've spoken about the scale. The text under the logo is the font of JCI font plus Jakarta Sans, which I would explain later on, which is also the text for the JCI itself. And that font is standard, should not change. The line of the text that we have under the logo should not exceed the end of the logo. No, the end of the first, that's the C in the logo. That's the blue one, the light blue. There's a line there. As you can see my hand on the screen pointing to that line. The text must not exceed that for the first line. And then for the second line, the text must not exceed the end of the logo. For the second and the third line, it must not. And our text must always be left aligned. Must be left aligned. It's not that we have the Republica or maybe University here, and then we now have maybe the of Jakarta on the other side. So it must be aligned. Then we have mentioned all this so that we can, when we see logos that have been tampered with, it's easy for us to quickly recognize. Now, usually also, we must have space around the logo wherever we're going to put the logo. There must be space around the logo, and the space must be exactly half of the shield on all sides of the logo, which means that at no point must anything from top bottom enter into that space. Usually, especially for JCI Nigeria, we do not even tend to put any other logo close to the JCI logo for any reason, or combining them together. No. But for the cases where we may have to put two JCI logos together, maybe JCI Akwa Ibom and JCI Cotonou have a partnership and we want to place both logos beside each other, there must be space. Or when we are arranging our logo close, some people will put their logo very, very close to it. There must be this space. And usually when you size your logo, you should know that at least half of the JCI shield itself is the space that should be there. Now, for our logo colorways, when we have the white background, the JCI logo should be in color like this. All the colors like we have seen. When we have our black, JCI black, which is close to navy blue background, the JCI becomes white. The shield inside becomes the dark side of the shield becomes white, and we leave the remaining. Now, for the normal JCI blue background, everything is white. And then for rare cases where we need to use the black version only, usually happens maybe, for instance, with some kind of prints that you cannot do, screen print and co, that you cannot do multiple colors, black, full black, when color cannot be used. Now, on photography, you have a dark background photograph, you use white logo. You have a black, light background photograph, you use the black logo. Kindly let's note this if the logo is going to be on that. Now, for the colorways, the Junior Chamber International part does not concern us, but for the part that concerns us, which is the country, local organization, we need to understand clearly that this is how to follow through. We'll follow what we have seen before, but then for the dark background, that's the JCI black background, we have the JCI blue for the name. For white background too, we have JCI blue for the name of the organization. But for plain complete white, everything is white, and for complete black, everything is black. We need to understand this. We have a whole lot of common mistakes, and we'll discuss them later. But please, let's not scale individual elements. So if we look at the first one, we notice that the JCI logo itself has been reduced. No, the JCI itself has been increased. There's the second one, the JCI logo has been the JCI has been reduced. The distance between the JCI and the logo has been increased too. They have stretched the logo. Please don't stretch it. Please don't flip the JCI logo. Your marker to make you know that this JCI is when you can see the J, the C, and the I facing the normal way. Please do not rotate the logo. Don't invert. Don't put JCI after the shield. Please, all these outlines, not for the logo. Don't change the colors of the logo, and don't add any effect to the logo. All these people that love all these incoming, no, don't let me call them incoming, because I was once at that point all these designers that just finally just found out that putting shadows on things make things look so sweet and wonderful, and then they start to put shadow on the logo. Please do not put that. All other common mistakes we'll talk about later, but then I need to move fast as my time is spent. I think I started at 7:15 and we are already at 7:40, which means I've used 25 out of my 1 hour. So I have 35 minutes left. So I'll take five to 10 more minutes to run this through this, then move into the next. So our colors, you must have heard me mentioning the JCI black, the JCI blue, JCI this, JCI that. This part is our colors. Now for designers, for your designers, whether it's videos, whether it's even for the photographers who want to brand the pictures, whether it's designs, graphic designs, please let's note that at the end of the day, these are our colors, and the colors have color codes that we can pick from the manual. Please don't let's use colors that are not our colors. Like I explained earlier, it's important to know that our designs should be consistent. Somebody sees the colors of 2 different local organizations and understands straight away that this is JCI without having to look for the logo there. So in being consistent, we have our JCI blue, we have the JCI black, and we have JCI white. The JCI white is the normal white. The JCI blue and black is close to navy blue, but it has its color code. And then the JCI blue is close to sky blue, but it has its color code. And these are our primary colors. As we go further, I will tell us the percentages in which we should use them. But we need to understand that the JCI blue is our primary color combined with JCI black and JCI white. The color of the JCI blue is our main color. I'm repeating it over and over again so we can know. The black and white only help to provide proper contrast for the JCI blue. So the black and white, the JCI black and the JCI white are what we should use majorly as our background. What we should use majorly as our background is white or the JCI black. Every other color that we see is wrong. White or the JCI black background. Now, if we have the white, we can now make use more of the JCI blue in our designs. Then we can add the JCI black as a form of contrast. Or if we are using the JCI black, then we have the text in the JCI blue and white, as the case may be. Now, in order to give us a bit of flair, because we're a youthful organization, we now have the secondary colors of Junior Chamber International, which are the JCI navy, the JCI teal, and the JCI yellow. These colors are majorly there to help sit alongside. So the navy and the teal is sitting alongside our JCI blue to help to give an analogous range. This language is more for designers, but it's just to sit alongside. What it means is to have beside it, not generally for background or any, no, beside, to sit alongside the JCI blue. Even the JCI blue is not supposed to be a background that we use. Our background should majorly be JCI white or JCI black. Now, the JCI yellow is to give contrast. Should be used sparingly. That you should not use it too much, but it's to contrast the JCI blue and the other colors, all the different shades. It's just to okay, you want to give emphasis to something, just one thing or two things that you want people to quickly notice fast and possible. We use JCI yellow. If we even notice in recent times, in the former logo, the JCI yellow was for the local organization name so that you can quickly see it on time. But even now, we are not using it for that. That means what you just want to stand out a bit is what you use the JCI yellow for, and it should be used sparingly. And as such, this is the color hierarchy. Majority of our design should have the JCI blue, which should be at least 35%. Then the JCI white or black, 20%, and the JCI secondary colors, only 10%, and for the yellow, 5%. This should be a guide to help us understand the hierarchy and to help us understand the usage of the colors of our brand. Then, of course, we have the color pairings to which colors can stay on which colors. And as such, if you look at it, there are some colors that you just disturb yourself. Imagine putting the JCI teal on the JCI blue. People will not quickly see it. And as such, you are going to be causing problems for the eyes of your customers. And the truth is, when we are in a generation, I don't want to call it lazy, but we don't have time, we don't have chill in this generation. And this is our target audience, 18 to 40. And if they don't have chill, that means you must create design that will ensure that they don't look at it once and say, oh God, this thing is destructive to my eye, and they move on immediately. So we must work towards that. But beyond that, okay. All right. So I'm not seeing the screen. Network. Saula, I'll respond to this once I round up. Please, if you can see the screen, kindly send your threads. Also, some people can see the screen. I would suggest that you log out. If you can't see the screen, log out and log in again. And truthfully, if you log out, it's likely you might not come back. Also, secondly, if you are following so far, let's have a favorite emoji. I'm going to count the emojis to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I'm not counting this. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. All right. I'm following properly. How that person has logged out. I hope you come back in. Anyway, so we'll quickly talk about typography, the text, and then we'll talk about pictures and then other things. Then we'll jump into the JCI Nigeria brand manual, which will be a bit faster than this. So there are 3 major fonts that we must use. Please, anytime you do a design now and you have any font that is not any of these 3, please, you are out of order. No matter what you want to tell me, you want to write happy birthday in a 40 font, please don't do it. You want to write happy birthday in a 5, don't do it. You want to happy new year in 5, don't do it. 3 major fonts that we should use in JCI are the Plus Jakarta font, the Redex Pro. Redex Pro is a fallback for Plus Jakarta in case we cannot get the font, or in case we have the font but we are not using the Pro version of Canva, for instance, and so you cannot install the font on Canva. You use the Redex Pro. Redex Pro is on Canva. And then our secondary font is Argo. Those are the 3 fonts that you should use on your designs. Once there's any other font apart, even up to the point where you're writing your social media handle, it should be close any of the fonts. So the primary font is Plus Jakarta font, to be used across board for almost all our communications as such. If you go to there's a link on the manual to be able to download it easily, so you don't have to go far. So you when you send it to your designer says, I don't have the font, go and click here. No wasting of time. Don't let any designer come and scam you and say something about, no, we must use this font, because it will just fall against the brand of JCI. So we use the Plus Jakarta font. If we can't use the Plus Jakarta font for the Canva Pro account, we use the Redex Pro. You find it there. But wherever possible, we should make sure that it's the Plus Jakarta font that we use. Then, of course, we can now use the Argo font as the secondary typeface, which goes to supplement, let me use that word, the primary typeface. These are the fonts that you should use from henceforth. Of course, we have the typeface hierarchy, which we can look into later on. And then JCI brand in action. For JCI, depending on how they want to, it's either top left or top right. But for JCI Nigeria, we have where we actually have our positions, and we'll discuss that later on as the case may be. Now, the ripple effect is what helps us to pass our message across. And in all our designs so far, if we look at the banners, the presentation slides, our call cards, our letterheads, now what we are passing across is the ripple effect. It's serving as a form of our identity. What people quickly see, what people see on our designs to quickly know that, oh, this is a JCI design as such. And by consistently using this ripple effect, it helps us reinforce the visual system for Junior Chamber International. This is the ripple effect construction, basically for designers as such. And then our photography, to round it up, our photography should focus on four major things. Four major things. One, focus on people. People should be the center of our photography. Let's slow down on the messages that, yes, we can actually still take pictures of the whole hall just to show the amount of people that have come. But more of our pictures should be about expressions, faces, interactions, moments. We should also ensure that we pick candid and authentic moments. See where people are hugging each other, people are showing themselves, candid moments. Then we should also represent diversity. We should show diversity in our pictures. So our pictures should focus on picking different tribes, different races, as the case may be. And then energy, because we are a youthful organization, energy and optimism. These are the major four things that we should do with our pictures. As such, we have come to the end of the JCI brand guideline and the new logo. On this note, I'll quickly take some of our questions before we jump into JCI Nigeria's brand guideline, then before we jump into others. So let me go back and say, what instances could cause a regeneration of the logo though? Because there's a logo generator we can all use to get the replica of the Elo's logo. So yes, for instance, you do not have access to the logo generator. But of course, there's no instance like that where you will not have access to the logo generator. Moreover, once you have created the logo for your local organization, you have it somewhere stored. I am very sure that even there is probably a bank where you can get your local organization logos, as the case may be, from the Directorate of Communications and from JCI Nigeria as a whole. So please, please, and please, you should not regenerate the logo in any form. Can the presentation file be shared for personal review? Yes, of course. The National Director of Communications has shared this earlier, and we will share again because it's in circulation. It's even on JVC, as the case may be. So we have had a lot of question and answers as regards that. How can you install a font on Canva? You have to have the pro version of Canva. When you get the pro version of Canva, there's a place where you can install fonts. That's the training for another time, not for today. So you said we should not use the JCI blue as background, right? Yes, I said it. Tell anybody that I said it. How, because it's in the brand manual, it has told us the two colors that we can use for backgrounds. How can we get the PDF of this manual? JCI.cc, JCI.ng, JVC.cc, speak to the National Director of Communications, and you will get the brand. You mentioned color percentages among the choices of colors. Can we see some JCI flyers that showcases these color percentages? Okay, thank you very much, Dominion Egwu. I'll bring one or two of that out while we are speaking. Is it allowed to be using white and JCI blue gradient as background? So while in designing, we might end up wanting to be much more we want to be more adventurous in our designs. We need to be very, very careful as regards how we pass our messages across. So if you want to use a shade of white, it's not bad to use a shade of white and blue, but it must look whitish. It must be very, very close to white. And I'll give an example here. Let's look at this. Let's look at the if you notice here, if we look at this place, this box generally, it looks bluish, but it's very close to white that you don't know that it's actually blue. If not because there's a completely white background here, you would not know that this blue is actually white. These are the kind of shades that we're looking at for backgrounds, in case you want to add some form of some form of context, no, not context, but depth into your designs, as the case may be. For other logos, e.g., to represent an event under the local chapter, please, it's not local chapter anymore, it's actually local organization. Do we still have to adhere to? Yes, you must adhere to the brand guidelines as long as it's your local organization that is that the project is domiciled to. If For instance, you have a partnership with maybe MTN, and MTN is the one running the organization, and you're a partner. Now them will do their design. Let me use the vernacular. But if it is JCI Nigeria, JCI Akwanga, JCI Infolin that is doing a project, the partners can go underneath. And please don't tell me the person brought 1 billion, person brought 15 billion, and person brought 30 billion. If you want to do a design with a partner on top, then you reach out to the director of communications to guide you on that. But for now, we need to strictly adhere to our design. What's your professional advice on how to amplify our LO social media visibility, particularly in terms of follower growth? This one is not the training for today. For today, we are looking at holding on to the new JCI brand and how to be consistent with the new JCI brand. This training will come up, and I can give examples of how to do this in essence, but we can't go there. Please, can you buttress on the format for presentation slides, flyers? We'll see that later on. Try downloading them, but it's not opening. It's Canva. Someone has already answered. Caleb, as regards how to do Canva. Okay, and now we're about to run. So a point you haven't addressed is what happens when we are looking to use designs as watermarks, and they are different colors from the ones you mentioned. Designs as watermarks. I am a bit confused as regards this. So I would like that Olabi Karim, I'll give you the floor to actually speak, and then you would explain to me what you mean by designs as watermarks, and then I'll take that.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, National President, our trainer, National Director on Media and Communications. My name is JCI Karim from JCI Abeokuta. As we speak, as we are on training, before the training, I'm on 1st of January, and where I was looking to have our IKEA project logo design underneath of a thank you flyer that we're trying to push out. So I could do a screenshot to share. So with the explanations you've made, I realized, and then the IKEA project logo that we have here has a red, a sharp green, and a sharp blue. Though it is so faint because it's a watermark, but then it does not align with the alignments that you have explained so far. That's why I'm asking. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for this. Basically, number one, if it's a logo, of course, we cannot force you to change logos. As much as I would actually harass you a bit to say that your IKEA logo did not follow even the old JCI brand guidelines, because if it did, it would not be, it would not have some of those colors. But then, of course, the logo is already there, and we can't stop you from using your logo. But please don't use it in such a way that it will overshadow the JCI logo. And please do not use the colors. So you can only just put the logo somewhere in the design just to showcase the IKEA logo, probably on the ground, underneath the flyer, as the case may be. But it is important that we note that the majority of our colors must be the JCI colors, as the case may be. I hope I have been able to answer. Please don't mind Caleb Olule for saying rebrand it. We are not forcing you to rebrand, but normally you should, the logos should actually not be. Now we'll quickly move into the JCI, the JCI Nigeria brand guideline. We'll take that in the next 10 minutes, and then we'll take some examples in 10 minutes, and then we'll round up this training with question and answers. As the case may be. Even though I've already started some question and answers, so I can eat into your time back. But then let's quickly look at the JCI Nigeria brand guidelines, and let's see how to align our local organization designs with the JCI brand guidelines. Okay. Now it's allowing me to share the screen. So if you can see my screen, as usual, our task, if you can see my screen, please just, the emojis and stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for that. So the JCI Nigeria brand guidelines. Oh, okay. So basically, we've spoken about the new logo already. Spoken about the new logo, but this is the JCI Nigeria logo, as the case may be. Now, for a lot of people, it's easy to spot that your logo, especially for colleges, it's easy to spot that you have edited your logo, because immediately I look at the Nigeria under, I see where the Nigeria stops, and I know immediately that you have edited the logo, or you have claimed that part and you put your local organization name there. I know that at some point in time, also the collegiate structure would actually give access to all logos for all local organizations as it regards the city structure too, for JCI Nigeria. But beyond that, please, when you have your logo, just look at it well to be sure that you are in, you are consistently following through with the logo. We have, of course, the JCI Nigeria logo, our national organization, the JCI City Local Organization logo, and then Collegiate Local Organization logo. There are special emphasis on collegiate. Every collegiate local organization must have the Nigeria in front. The Nigeria must be sentence case, no, title case, as the case may be, not full caps. Now, the local organization name can now be full caps or normal caps, depending on what it is. So for short forms, for instance, we have Uniben, it can be full caps, and it can be short caps if you like. But for short forms, it can be full caps, and for full names, it should be as normal. University can be title case of then Ibadan, of Jakarta, of blah, 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 blah. As such, it's important to note that also the local organization name must be in the JCI blue. So, of course, let's move into the AMPLIFY'd logo. The AMPLIFY'd logo, we've spoken about the JCI Nigeria logo. The AMPLIFY'd logo is built around the idea of layers too. In fact, it's so funny that the JCI logo and the AMPLIFY'd logo are two various forms of the spiral effect of what we are doing. We are trying to amplify, we are trying to push forward the ideas of the past for JCI Nigeria, and JCI is trying to push ahead and show us the ripple effect of what we have been doing so far. So in essence, plus JCI Nigeria plus AMPLIFY'd, we are actually showcasing a spiral effect of ideas. Now, the AMPLIFY'd logo starts from the vision, and then action, and then legacy. And it's in that step that we move forward. Of course, we have the core of it being the JCI yellow, and then the two parts that represent, two arrows that represent action, and the legacy being the JCI teal green, the JCI teal, which are still parts of, while the name AMPLIFY'd is in the JCI black. Logo placement for Junior Chamber International Nigeria local organization is that the local organization or the national organization logo is on the left, while the AMPLIFY'd is on the top right. So topmost far right and topmost far left. And then, of course, we should have a margin like we have discussed in this. Now, for other cases, we have three local organizations. If we have partnerships and they are not less than more than three, or three logos can actually be on top. Only three logos can be on top. While if we have beyond partnerships that have more than three local organizations, we strongly suggest that the logos, the local organizations should have a host or should have one logo strongly on the top left, while the other logos can go bottom right, as the arrangement should be. Please, let's note this. Yes, I know that a whole lot of conversations will come around this, what's in case and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, strongly suggest that we have somebody hosts or somebody takes the first place. If it entails you having to do 4, 5, 6 flyers with each person being on top and others being under, so that we can satisfy the ego or the ideas of each and every one of us, then please let's do it. It's very, very important that we do that. Our colors, of course, at JCI colors as we discussed earlier, the percentages as we discussed earlier, the pairings as we discussed earlier, the logo colorways as we discussed earlier, except for the Amplify logo, which maintains the yellow, except when we have it in the black format. Now, common mistakes that I would bring to light. We've seen all the other common mistakes. First common mistake that we should not merge any logo with the JCI logo. So any local organization, any logo that has this is wrong. Having the JCI merged with the Amplify or with other logos is wrong. Having the JCI Nigeria in capital letter is wrong. And please don't change the color of the name underneath. Please do not change the color of the name underneath. Our typography, of course, we've discussed this earlier. And then our assets, we have our design assets that can be found on jci.cc, jci.ng, JVC, or Trello. Our assets include, we even have standard assets for our letterhead. That's design, unified designs for the letterhead. We have unified designs for our business cards. We have brochure, unified designs. We have roll-up banners, unified designs. We have presentation slides, unified designs. We even have our email signatures for local organizations and for national organizations, unified designs, easily accessible on Canva. All these designs are accessible on Canva. So there's no need to stress ourselves too much. Just go there, change the name, and go ahead and convert for print or convert to PDF to use. No need to increase any size of anything. No need to decrease any size. Just impute and go ahead and go with it. And if you are in doubt of anything at all, refer first to the brand guidelines. If you are newly creating any form of logo in any way, kindly send to the National Directorate of Communication for proper approval. With these few points of mine, I hope I've been able to speak a bit about the new brand for
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. I'm sure that we have learned a lot, and for those of us that's already seeing the mistakes that we've been making, and now we know how best to correct them. Please, let's keep seeing your emojis. Let's keep
please.
seeing your favorite emojis. Okay, so let's quickly go into question and answers. Let's quickly go into question and answers. I think some people have been dropping their questions in the chat box. I don't know if our trainer has been able to answer all the questions, but if you have your question, please.
I have answered. So I've answered a few of those questions, except one. But if we have questions, please let's drop in the chat box while
Okay.
I collate some of the things that I need to display quickly.
All right. So please, if you have more questions, please kindly drop them in the chat box so that our trainer can respond to your questions. We're going to give 2 minutes for you to drop your questions. So by 8:11, our trainer can start answering the questions.
Okay, so let me pick. Some of the questions one by one. Let's talk about video placement. Video placement, it's about creative placement in general. Placement should be the same thing as creatives. Top left, top right, and then every other part. As usual, the reason why we pick those places is so that the main information can be shown at the middle of the creative, whichever form of the creative it is, as the case may be. And already on ground, we'll follow through with how the color placement for pictures are. Pictures that have very light background, we use the dark black logo. And for pictures that have very white background, we use the very dark background, we use the white logo, basically. For John, how do we get the brand guidelines? Like I said, JCI.cc, JVC.cc, JCI.ng, Trello, JVC, then the National Director of Communication. How best can you advise designers who don't use Canva about the fonts that are around? You download the fonts, it's simple. Download the fonts, install on your system, and it will work on any form of what do they call it? And it's work on any form of program that you have on your system. And it's not hard to. Once you download the font, unzip it. Once you unzip it, right click install, and it's installed on your system. I mean logo placements on videos. I've answered that. How do I access the JCI assets on Canva? There's a link on JCI.cc. There's a link on the Trello. But if not, there's also a link on the JCI.ng that you can follow to get these assets. Please talk about guidelines of logo placements on video too. I've mentioned that already. Can logos be placed on merch, souvenirs, or partner materials, and what approvals are required? If you have designs for merch, kindly send to the National Director of Communications, and National Director of Communications will tell you how it should go. But as the case may be, these are our new logos, and these are what we should place based on the colors. So it's not just for designs. That brand guideline covers for everywhere you want to place logos, as the case may be. The only difference is that, of course, if you are doing a t-shirt, you cannot be doing top left and top right as well. But the logo itself, you know how and where to place it. Please, is there a group chat where we can share these fonts with others, especially some of us who have access to the fonts are on the of course, I'm sure there's going to be a group chat likely before the end of today where local organization Director of Communications would be joining in, and then all these assets can also be shared. Thank you, Director of Communications, for informing me about that now. So there would be that. I'm bothered about consistency. When will we rebrand again and change logo? Plus, for branding, what other aspects of it should we put into consideration? Is it just logo? So I've spoken about a whole lot beyond logo. I've spoken about colors. I've spoken about text. I've spoken about the major contents of context of branding for us: logos, the fonts, the colors, how we put our messaging, and as such. Those are the things that have been mentioned already before now. The logo is likely not going to change in the next 50 years. And by that time, a lot of us might not even be here. I'm sure I will not even be here anymore. But then, and many of us that will still be here will be old. But it's very likely that the logo will not change in a very, very long time. And this last logo, imagine that we're changing the logo. I think this is the second time we're changing the logo in 110 years. So let's understand that it's very likely it's going to change in a very, very long time. Is there a general group for? Yes, so there would be a general group that will be shared across after this today. Also, is there a sanction for of course, there will be sanctions for non-conformity, and we will see those sanctions come into place in the nearest future, as the case may be. How about flyers that include other logos of collaborators? How can they fit them according to? I think I mentioned this already before, but then, like I said already, if we are going to have more than, we can have 3 logos on top. If we have more than that, every other person comes to the bottom right of the local of the organization, of the design. Sorry. How do we get the AMPLIFY'd logo? And can we use it? National Director of Communications will share to Hello. Look at, and yes, you should use it on Hello designs to top right, as case in the event of any violation of the rules. What penalties are applicable? The penalties will be written down clearly and will be sent across board to everybody. For very, 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 very important. That one would be written clear. So it's not that we will not have a situation of, you judge me and you find me 20K, or you find somebody else 50K. The penalties will be clearly stated out. Is it compulsory for all videos to carry the 4 logos? JCI, JCI Nigeria, JCI Area, and LO. Well, we are going to enter into that because there's actually one complaint as regards that. For vertical videos, it could usually get distracting. 4 logos on all the 4 sides if you have 4 logos. Because for instance, we can have, I know that the LO would have its own thing. I know that, for instance, the collegiate probably has its own thing, which is Spark. We have the amplifier on top left and top right. We have JCI Nigeria logo or JCI local organization logo on top left and 4. All those 4 can be on the 4 sides of, as usual. The reason why they are on those 4 sides, far edges, is to avoid distractions from the center, which is where the video is supposed to have the major parts at the center. There's a Trello link that has the Canva templates. Thank you very much. Since anyone can access the letterheads, how do we make sure only the right people use them? Like I've said already, any designs outside the designs that we have gotten before should be sent across to the National Director of Communications to proofread, and the National Director of Communications is also in charge of the brand committee anyway. Thank you very much. I think I've answered all our questions so far, and I think I just want to quickly enter into the part where people are going to fight me, but then it's important that we do this. But it's important that we do this so we can understand practical examples. My first example, as the case may be, would be this flyer with the backgrounds. Of course, the background, a lot of it are making noise and are fighting with local organization designs. The fonts in the local organization designs are not the JCI fonts, as the case may be. So this is entirely wrong in itself. Next is this. We have JCI Nigeria Lautech logo. Yeah, with the fonts not being the same. The font is not the JCI font, the Jakarta font that we expect of. And I think that's what's wrong here. Next, we have this. And first of all, the design underneath is actually fighting with us seeing the logo. Secondly, the Nigeria here has been edited and reduced in size for the logo. The Nigeria has been reduced in size, and of course, following through with our different logos. So let's ensure we look at that. Let me first confirm, please. If you can hear me, kindly send out emojis. Okay, cool. So we have this. Next, we have also the Nigeria here has been reduced in size to this should be looked into properly. Of course, the background is not the exact colors as we have discussed earlier. It's not the exact colors. So let's take note of that. We have this, and as usual, the background is fighting with. The background shouldn't be this anyway, but it's fighting with the logo, and there's no clear contrast as regards that. We have this. This combination is entirely wrong in itself and should not be as such. So we need to ensure that we do that. Also, next, we have this Joint Officers Training School. No logo on this right. So we need to ensure that we put at least one logo on the top right. Now, like I said earlier, just in case we're having issues with who is the host or something, just do 4 flyers for each of the local organizations. Let each local organization post their flyer with their logo, as the case may be. If we cannot accept one, Now we have this. This in itself is entirely wrong, not just because of the background and of course the Amplify logo alone and the font alone, but there is nothing like Southeast Collegiate logo, and as such, this is wrong and should not be um, done anymore. Or JCI Nigeria Southern Collegiate, wrong and should not be done anymore. Then we have this um, this logo. It's obvious here that this has been edited. So let's ensure that we don't do that. And beyond that, I think that's all for now as regards the logos that I've seen that are not good. So let me stop there. And we have many more, and I'm sure the National Directorate of Communications would be showcasing more of our wrong logos and our right logos too. Unfortunately, I could not gather right logos today, but we'll be showcasing more of the wrong and right logos for us to be able to look at and understand. Thank you very much. I would hand over at this point to the National Director of Communications as I've rounded up the training. In case there are any more questions, we are here to answer. And if there are none, we can go home. So while I'm looking at that, I'm holding on for the National Director of Communications.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much. Really can't thank you enough. I mean, this has been so helpful. I know that since the 1st of January, we've been battling so many wrong placements and have been in your DMs ever since. And I'm glad that presidents and director of communications can now see how they've gone wrong in the brand placements. And I want to believe that going forward, we'll try to avoid such errors. However, I'd just like to mention that, like our trainer has said, there will be a penalty for defaulting local organizations. So I would like to plead with us on this call before we send this out to local organization presidents. Please and please, I'd like to plead with us to adhere to the instructions as given so that at the end of the year we don't fight and we don't hold grudges against the director of communications. We're just trying to ensure that whatever we are putting out is portraying JCI Nigeria in the right light. And we know that this is Nigeria, where everything we put out, is seen beyond just Nigeria. So please and please, I'd like to plead with us once again. Let's try to adhere to the instructions. Wherever we were not clear, please try to seek clarity. My DM is always open, and whichever one I don't understand, I can always run to their trainer so that we can get clarity on whatever the situation is. However, don't worry, for those errors that we've made before, there is no penalty yet, but the penalty starts after this training. So that's what I would like to plead, and that's what I'm emphasizing on, pleading with us to please not default any longer. Whatever design you're putting out, if you don't understand or you feel like there is something wrong, please don't hesitate to reach out so that we can correct it before it goes out. Because once it goes out and we see it, I'm sorry, you cannot take it back and the penalty will be given. So thank you very much, JCI Senator Ayodeji Akinwande. This has been very insightful, and I am sure that for the Directorate of Communications, we cannot stop saying thank you. We'd always come back, and then we know that you would always be there for us. And for you squeezing out time to do this for us, we're grateful, and we say a wonderful thank you. For the winners of tonight, we have Zainab Yusuf, we have Owolabi Karim, we have, sorry, don't let me murder the name, but endure with me. Bakayeni Mobo Ofori. We have Noah, we have Victory Oyisi, and Alima Mohammed. Please send a message across so that we can know how to get your gifts across to you. Thank you so much to everyone. Thank you to every local organization president on this call. Thank you to every director of communications on this call. Thank you to every board members, to every national board members that joined this call. Thank you to every area team members that joined this call. We're very grateful. And we hope that during the course of the year, we don't have any cause to have issues with the directorates of communications. And we also like to urge the national vice presidents to please help us spread this across to the grassroots so that when we have you to guide your area, your districts, we know that the Directorate of Communication can also at least relax a bit. So thank you once more. Thank you, our dear trainer.